Zinedine Zidane's side established that lead after a very comfortable 4-1 victory at home against Huesca. The big story, Eden Hazard getting his first goal in over a year. What a goal this was, Ali.
Yes, it was. And it was a game that up until that point, Huesca looked organized and somewhat comfortable. Real Madrid hadn't been able to create a whole lot. Eden Hazard hadn't really participated much in the game. And what we saw is perhaps what the new version of Eden Hazard is going to be. Unlike Vinicius on the left-hand side, he's not taking people on. We see Eden Hazard very comfortable, just drifting to the inside and looking to combine and looking at those spaces underneath. And he's able to turn away from the defender, away from the pressure, unleashes that left-footed shot, and you're thinking, this goal came from nowhere. Came from nowhere for Eden Hazard, came from nowhere from Real Madrid. It's from a different game, but then from then on, Real Madrid just opened things up. Huesca were not able to withstand the pressure, and Real Madrid were comfortable. And that's something that we haven't said very often this season, that Real Madrid won this game comfortably. Nobody talking about anybody, no controversy, no issues. Benzema scores a couple of goals, so all is good at Real Madrid.
Well, indeed, and of course all the money spent on Hazard. It's nice to see the odd goal like that, Jules.
Yeah, it is good, and I mean, the talent was always there. It was never a question of is he talented or not talented enough to be a success at Real Madrid. It was always all about the fitness, the attitude to fitness as well. And, you know, we know maybe a few extra pounds or kilos there and there and that kind of stuff, because the talent is always there. It's not going to go away. So it was good finally for him to be able to play an hour, which was the plan before. We saw already, which we saw a bit, you know, after the restart last season. Him and Benzema clearly, they're going to get on well. They're going to get on well on the pitch. They get on really well off the pitch. But on the pitch, you saw already a bit of that relationship today on Benzema's first goal, for example. But overall, I thought you could see on Valverde's third goal, Hazard and Benzema, but the third goal for Real Madrid, Benzema and Hazard combining well as well together. So you know they're going to hit it. You know they're going to hit it. And that's very encouraging, I think, if you're Zinedine Zidane and Real Madrid. But the only thing you want is that Hazard stays fit and you don't rush him to play too many games, 90 minutes every 3 days, for example, take his time. So you know that there's going to be any setback or anything like this, because when he's in that kind of form, he's obviously a huge asset to that team.
You mentioned Benzema, Jules, of course, getting a couple of goals. A big week for him after the video that was shown about what he was saying about Vinicius, allegedly. He then obviously took to Instagram, said the dogs bark, number 9 keeps going. Scores today, he doesn't seem to care, Jules. I don't mean not about scoring, but about the criticism. And even when Vinicius came on, there wasn't like a show of, oh, we are friends. Benzema just seems to be in Benzema world.
Well, I don't know if he's in his own world, but certainly I can tell you that he was not fazed at all by the controversy. He was almost like, what controversy? You know, I think things like this happen in a dressing room. Yeah. They happen all the time, whatever level you're playing at. They're not always picked up by microphones and cameras. That's the only thing. But for him, it was really clear that Vinicius was not having a really good game in midweek, and that was getting really on Benzema's nerves. And maybe a leader should not talk like this. Maybe a leader should behave differently. I give you that. But Karim certainly didn't feel like that at all. And he had a chat with Vinicius. They had a chat with Zidane. It was all cleared. He played really well today. Vinicius came on in the second half as well. I think everyone was happy. But clearly, I can tell you that he didn't care at all about any controversy or anything like this. All he was focused on is the next game, scoring again, be efficient, be decisive for Real Madrid, and that's all he cared about. And I think his point of view, just quickly on the controversy, was, you know, it was not helping Real Madrid that Vinicius was not playing well, that he was not maybe doing what the manager has asked him to do, and there was an issue there. And I think as a leader in that team, he maybe in a clumsy way, but decided to talk about it with Courtois, with Ferland Mendy, maybe as well with Zidane, I don't know. But certainly he thought like this is not good for Real Madrid as a whole, as a team, that Vinicius is playing the way he does on his own and things like that. He should have maybe not said the thing he did, or not that way. But that's certainly how he was thinking.
It's this sort of mentality that I'm always fascinated with, Ali, because he obviously had all the controversy with the French national team, a week where he's just been all over the headlines, but he seems to just kind of have this laser focus and not worry about any of the noise that's going on around him, which obviously makes him one of the best players, the key players to Real Madrid.
for the length of time that Karim Benzema has been the center striker at Real Madrid, he was, for a long period of time, the sort of the target of criticism because, you know what, this guy doesn't score enough to be a center striker for Real Madrid. And you know how the media are in Madrid, how the media are in Spain. You were part of it then. And so clearly there is an amount of pressure that other players would feel, and other players would take it in and say, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm not scoring. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. It takes a real different type of personality to be able to block that out and say, you know what? I do me. Yeah. I do my job. I do what I do. And I don't care what anybody says. In fact, what do they say? It doesn't matter to me. My job is here. And until they are able to make decisions as to who's in and who's out, if they're not coaching the team, I don't care what they say. And guess what? The guy who's coaching the team loves me as a player. And so therefore, I'm going to be out there whether you like it or not. But in order to have that personality, in order to have that mentality, every once in a while, you have to deliver on big moments. And he has done that time and time again for Real Madrid. So it gives him equity. It gives him equity to say whatever he wants to Vinicius. And Vinicius is just going to have to take it. And he's going to have to show up and do his very best in the next game. Because guess what? Karim Benzema is going to be out there as well.
Last word on this, Jules?
Yeah, I agree with everything Ali said. I mean, he feels the responsibility of that team. He feels one of the leaders, one of the boss in that team. And for him, something was not right at halftime in that game in the Champions League. And Vinicius was partly to blame for. And I think that was the way for Karim to almost sort it out in a way and you know, take full responsibility. Say, okay, let's go out against Mönchengladbach in that second half, do things differently. And that's all he was thinking of. You know, he certainly feels he can say anything he wants to anybody he wants in that team because, like Ali said, right now is right up there. And without him, they certainly would not have won La Liga last season and would not be in the situation they are right now, both in the league and in the Champions League.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Let's just take a look then at how La Liga stands. Real Madrid, as I mentioned, clear at the top by 2 points over Real Sociedad. Atletico Madrid, meanwhile, could actually move up to first in the table. They're currently on 14 points after their victory away today. A victory with that game in hand would put them top.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.